The cry over coffee theft within Kiambu County is not just another cry from the village where aging farmers are struggling to make ends meet, but a search for help from the marauding cartels reaping from where they did not sow. The farmers are up in arms against the government for licensing private millers without proper analysis and consideration of their production, a move they say has turned into a nightmare, causing them today sleepless nights.
Lakini tunajua serikali ile inawapea barua, inajua kabisa hawana mashamba ya hiyo kahawa. Kwa hivyo imewapea hiyo license ya kusaga hiyo kahawa, wakijua hawa watu hawana kahawa.
Ukienda kwa utakuta kahawa mingi sana na chandarua. Na hawana hata begu moja kutoka kwa shamba zao. They rely on this boat coffee that they buy from the locals.
Hakuna kitu tunapata. Kwa vile iko watu wengine wanausio kahawa ile naibwa bila na sijui serikali inachukua hatua gani.
And because coffee is an important revenue earner for this country, we cannot afford to take that matter for granted. And all leaders need to come up and strategize, put our minds together and come up with a way of how to combat this menace.
The area MP Honorable Njoroge Baya, in support of his constituents, strongly believe that coffee theft in Githunguri district is as a result of the Coffee Board of Kenya's negligence.
Body in charge of regulating, deciding who is in a position to handle coffee. This is the government. It is the government which has the machinery to do that, from the Coffee Board and also the whole executive machinery, including the security apparatus.
So you get somebody with a license who doesn't have a coffee farm, and that is a big problem. So the licensing procedure needs to be streamlined. That one needs to be streamlined. And I think it would even be important for the licensing authority to have something like extension officers to go on the ground to confirm some of the information they are using for issuing out those licenses.
However, the Coffee Board of Kenya Chair, Mrs. Wanjira Njeru, is accusing the farmers for failing to report suspected coffee millers, as a result propagating the vice.
So even tracking them becomes a real challenge, because coffee industry has moved from almost a monopoly of just one player. It used to be the KPCO and Coffee Board. KPCO was the only miller, Coffee Board was the overall marketer and all other regulations. But currently we have over 150 players in the industry dealing various activities along the value chain, from the farmers themselves, millers, marketing agents, warehousemen, name it. So the value chain has become more complex. And as a result, out of that, then of course we see a lot of unscrupulous dealers, because really there's nobody who is doing the activities on the ground other than the people.
But this does not augur well with the area MP, who insists the problem is with the Coffee Board of Kenya, who irresponsibly issued licenses to the coffee miller and has not gone to the ground to establish the authenticity of some of the licenses being used by the millers.
If it is assured that there is nobody who will handle coffee without indicating exactly from which farm that coffee is coming from, then if that law is enforced, then it will become very easy. These brokers will not have any coffee to deal with. Yeah, they will not even have incentive to go and steal from coffee farmers.
The problem lies in the licensing of coffee. We have seen first of all, the Coffee Board, the cooperatives, and even the coffee millers. The licensing is in such a way that they don't go to the ground to establish some of the facts that they are using in the licensing. So that you get somebody has a license, he has not established to the licensing authority how much coffee he himself has, whether he has a farm or where he's removing that coffee from. So you get somebody with a license who doesn't have a coffee farm.
But they sit in the background and they want us to prosecute or to take on somebody with no evidence. It's difficult. I want to say that our licensing regime is really stringent. Because of the immediate happenings, we've even tightened the requirements. within a week or two, we are going to be gazetting new conditions to just make it more stringent for licensing. And we are not saying that what is pertaining is not good enough, but we want to seal all possible loopholes.
Farmers within this region have incurred huge losses, running into millions of shillings as their produce gets stolen directly from the farms by people they allege are known to the dubious millers and the watchdog of the board. Allegations the board boss feels too bitter to swallow.
The industry has been liberalized. Before, the miller was only one in the name of KPCO. Before, the marketer was only one in the name of Coffee Board. The societies, for sometimes because of the governance challenges, has made very many farmers decide to break away from the cooperative societies and form their own independent estates, small estates. So you've seen an escalation of estates from about less than 500 to about 4,000. If you qualify today, if today you have 5 acres of land and you walk here and you prove with a title deed, and there is coffee on the ground and is confirmed from the grassroots, we have what we call the District Coffee Working Group, and they confirm indeed you own that land, you own that coffee, we will license you as an estate. That's what has happened. So the farmers need not look for scapegoats. I wish the farmers can focus more on helping us apprehend those people who are doing it.
But the farmers have been curtailed by fear instilled to them by the so-called cartels, threatening them from naming the culprits in public. The coffee theft have increased as coffee prices are currently picking up globally. But who are the cartels, and how is it possible that they liaise with the Coffee Board of Kenya authorities?
It is possible that we have some staff among the coffee cooperatives and coffee farms who are colluding with the thieves. For example, when you get that a lot of coffee has been removed from a store and it has been arranged and you are only coming to know about it when the thugs are almost starting to load it on the lorry. You can see all that process means that some people had been involved and there was some kind of insight.
But when a window is opened for you to continue milling without accounting for where you are getting this cherry from, that is now where we find brokers being used to steal coffee from coffee farmers so that they can, it is taken to these private millers. They are able to, that is it. And the licensing authorities, in this case, is actually the Coffee Board, and they have the mechanism to enforce all this. And they are the ones who have really failed.
I would like to challenge the farmers. Maybe they should have given evidence of who has been licensed, who doesn't have coffee tree. It would really be useful for us. There's nothing like illegal licenses from the board. I mean, if there's an illegal license, then that should be a criminal case straight away. And this is where we are calling on the cooperation of the farmers, because we hear the farmers more often than not complaining in the background. But when you tell them, come forward and give us specifics, nobody shows up. So we'd really appreciate.
Coffee factories in Kiambu County have experienced coffee theft, estimated to about 10 million Kenya shillings this year alone. The frustrated farmers are now calling upon the government to ban private millers to help curb the cartels. Sasini Managing Director is calling upon the coffee farmers who are incurring the cost of the theft to ensure their produce and avoid keeping many tons of coffee at their homes.
The best thing we're telling the growers, because we are not the authority, is one to try and mitigate and minimize the risks by one way of not holding too much coffee in their farms or in their store. Any coffee that is ready, we are offering farmers storage facility that are free, and you're not charging them anything. So by that doing, you deter the so-called guys should be coming to break in your store to steal coffee.
Antonine, GPS News.